Start churning butter and put on your church shoes, little sister, because we're about to blast off!
Ralph, what is it you're trying to say?
We're going to the internet.
What?
It's finally here! 6 years on, we have only the second proper sequel from Disney Animation Studios themselves, and it just so happens to be a follow-up to Wreck-It Ralph, one of my personal favourite movies not just for Disney, but in general. Folks, this film is to me what Incredibles 2 was to a lot of people earlier this summer. Not that I wasn't excited for that too, but this is a whole nother level. And it's getting equal reception to the original from critics and audiences alike. And that's kind of inexplicable from where I'm standing, even as undeniable as it is. Outside of the small group of people disappointed by the original secluding itself to Sugar Rush once it arrives there, I'm having trouble seeing how people can consider this on par with or above the first film. Plenty entertaining the whole time you're watching it, but it's not the near masterpiece the original was. Being truthful, I can't even call it great. But I'm getting ahead of myself. So, as you might guess from the title, Ralph goes into the internet. This is one of those sequels that sends its characters in a largely different direction, and this is something I'm for, though some of the directions it takes regarding their web-bound journey are questionable. And a lot of the subtle strengths of the original, from effective world building, to amazing visual and conceptual imagination, to an elegant, well-constructed screenplay, and a perfect pace, are notably less strong. But, as with any Disney film, it comes down to character first, as it should. Recently, I did a video on why I love the original Wreck-It Ralph so much. Regarding my then thoughts on the sequel, I said, but I love these characters. I almost can't believe it. I'm getting another adventure with them. They'll grow and learn more about themselves, while giving me more reasons to love them even further. If it does that, and stays true to them, there's no way the film won't win me over. Did the film deliver what I wanted regarding Ralph and Vanellope? Actually, yes. Not flawlessly, but yes. It continues from the original's character arcs in such a natural way that it makes it seem like the first film's ending was setting up this one the whole time. Between that, the lovable playful banter the two share, and the directions their journey ends up taking, I was never less than spellbound on that front. In summary, the film spoke so well to why I love these two. In many ways, the character arcs may be better than the first film. It's not afraid to get really sophisticated in depicting the unhealthy sides of a relationship between two people who love each other unconditionally, but also have very different views on how their friendship should go. It's killing me to remain cagey about the specifics, but I'm doing you a favour, folks. Trust me. And good thing too, because outside of its amazing character arcs, there's a lot I'm conflicted about. I'm not even sure where to begin. Being set in the internet, there was no way this film wasn't going to date itself quicker than the first. Now, it's miles better than the Emoji Movie, of course. Like with the existing video game characters in the first film, the existing brands present are used mostly to make the internet seem believable through window dressing, rather than to be shoved in our faces. Only 2 real websites are plot relevant, all in perfectly natural ways. Now, the film mostly avoids quick-dated humour, despite being about the fast-changing internet. But the flavour of humour is still often of the kind of laughing at something you recognise because you know it. Not a comedy style I care for much, and it really isn't what I want in Disney animation. Taste issue, I know. Does it overrun the film? Not at all. And it is organically integrated, with basically all the comedy tied to story points, and not of the random variety other animation studios often specialise in. As for the rest of the comedy, I've never liked it when Disney reminds us they own so much, and with the Disney Princess section, there's a chunk of the film centered on that. I cannot deny it's a comedy goldmine, and it does lead into the film's biggest surprise, and certainly the funniest part, but it also has to contend with more supposed feminism from Disney that isn't nearly as groundbreaking as it thinks it is. Couple that with 14 princesses vying for space, though most get a standout moment, a few are just there, and it is rather unsteady. That all came across as more negative than I intended. I just prefer my Disney animation to be watchable in the same mindset years later, and lots of the comedy outside of those two areas works really well, as it did with the first film. Really, a lot of this only irked me after leaving the theatre, not when watching the film, though the first credit scene is destined to date fast, while the second already did so years ago. What of everything else? Well, the film's visuals aren't as consistently creative as they could be, It's undeniably technically impressive, even if I remain unkeen on some tendencies of Disney's new in-house Hyperion rendering system, especially as regards the skin textures. Just look at the difference between the CG princesses in their own films and in this one. As for the world building, it was such a triumph in the first film. Here, it feels considerably more pedestrian. Though the internet is a huge metropolis, its ideas aren't as inspired or as realised as they should be. For instance, eBay's half flea market, half auction house. You don't say. The original had the benefit of exploring worlds basically unseen in visual media, whereas lots of animated TV series have gone into the internet before. This doesn't bring enough new to the internet table. Plus, being Disney, it can only go so far with the internet's less positive side. The dark web comes across as little more than a seedy alley. That's not even mentioning a scene that basically tells online content creators to never read comments. Which, yeah, when there's lots of hate on the internet, I get it. But I cannot support basically not interacting with your viewers. I read every comment I get. Maybe I'm just lucky, but the number of negative comments I've gotten are small, and hurtful hate comments are tiny. Even though there's plenty more to the scene, that message is still very questionable. The best world building is Slaughter Race, an MMO racing game. It remembers that these are video game characters, and expands greatly on the first film's logic, given how online-based gaming would differ from the old-school arcade gaming these characters know. It was so consistently enjoyable that the film might have been better off giving more focus here, considering where it goes after first leaving the game, especially given how crucial it is to the character arcs and the story's main thrust. One pivotal character there comes across as underdeveloped due to the pace. Speaking of the pace, despite an 112-minute runtime, it's too fast at times. The opening chunk in the arcade especially, spending no time at all recapping the first film, and showing little interest in making more use out of that world before heading off to the internet. Not until the second half does the film's pace slow down enough to achieve the grace the first film did. It's another case of modern animation cramming in not only more plot than it can fit, but more plot than it really needs. Much of the same can be said about the film's screenplay, often a bit on the nose with plot and character points. A surprise given the subtle complexity of the character themes. Basically none of the new characters make a big impression, or feel like they matter all that much, even when they do. And if you felt Felix and Calhoun were a highlight of the first film, well, to say how it sidelines them will disappoint you may be mild. It's certainly clunky, for sure. Looking back over what I said, it may have come across more negative than intended. Honestly folks, I did enjoy this film the whole time I was watching it, and the character stuff, being as strong as it is, does a lot to redeem those flaws. But there's just no denying how conflicted it is, and years from now, it will be quite dated. That just doesn't sit well with me. After all that, in Thrown to the Scoreboard, Ralph Breaks the Internet slots in at number 3, and narrowly enough at that. Again, still a good film without question, and had this been a sequel to a film I didn't hold so dear to my heart, I might have had less of a critical eye. You know, I feel kind of bad placing it even that far down. It's Wreck-It Ralph! It delivers on the two leads as much as I wanted, maybe even more. But I cannot deny almost everything else is problematic to some degree, whatever strengths are also present. I won't rule out my opinion changing somewhat by the year's end, though even if it does, I can't see this film ever having the replayability of the first one.
Ralph Breaks the Internet.
Shouldn't it be Ralph Wrecks the Internet?
Yeah, since he is Wreck-It Ralph.
Yeah, but break the internet, it's like a thing.
Right, it's just Wreck the Internet kind of sounds better, doesn't it?
You're not wrong.
I hope you enjoyed the video, folks. Be sure to let me know your thoughts on both the review and Ralph Breaks the Internet, if you've seen it. Plus, liking, subscribing, all that good stuff, would really help spread the channel's reach, as would some social media follows. Every little bit helps, you know. Until next time, folks.